Good evening. I'll now call the City of Cannon Falls City Council meeting for Tuesday, February the 16th to order. Roll call.
Councilmember Berg.
Here.
Gallops.
Here.
Holst.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Mattson.
Here.
Schoblum.
Here.
And Mayor Robinson.
Here. All please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the City Council meeting, and hopefully a sign of spring outside. So, at this time, the chair will take a motion to approve the amended agenda as submitted.
So moved. I will second.
Motion by Merle, second by Rod. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. That moves us on to item 5 this evening, which is public input. Citizens may speak to issues not on the agenda. Please speak. Before speaking, please give us your name and address for the minutes, and please limit your comments to 3 minutes.
Sure.
Good evening, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, I'm John Holbert. Lived in Cannon Falls since 1970. Taught at the high school and coached and so on. Most of you know me probably. I'm currently the chairman of the Shepherd Center, and I'm here to represent, I guess, the Shepherd Center this evening. And I'd like to talk to you about a physical opportunity to the citizens of Cannon Falls, perhaps outside, and that would be pickleball. You've probably been reading the paper. This has been a very successful program for us at the community center and getting our seniors really getting out and doing some physical activity. It's going over very well. We started the program with a workshop in November, and on 24th of November, where we had demonstrations. We had about 20-some people at that. And we started the pickleball program here in Cannon Falls on December 1st at the Cannon Community Center. We have 2 courts down there we use. Kathy plays some. And I taped the courts so the tape is removable so we can take that up at any time. Currently we have 40 players playing once or more a week in Cannon Falls. Average age is 65. I keep track of that as a coordinator of the program. And we have the program open to anyone 55 and older. 55 and older can come up and play. We started league play on February 8th. We currently now have a men's league, we have a women's league, and a mixed couples league. And we have 18 people playing that type of thing now. The rest of the people just come down and play once or twice a week for physical activity. People are asking what will happen in the program once spring and summer come. And we also get the question, can we come down weekends and can we come down evenings? Well, we can't at the Shepherd Center because we only have a certain amount of time with Rod Johnson and Twyla Geik and our staff down there to work. So therefore we can't do that. Question is this a program which could benefit the community of Cannon Falls in an outside atmosphere? Could something be worked out with the school district on lining some tennis courts for tennis and pickleball? Or an idea I have is the area up by the swimming pool where currently I believe it's the kids can have jumps up there and everything, rollerblading, or is that what you call it? Is that something I've heard maybe changing? Could that area be resurfaced and maybe used for some courts? I've shown you some pictures. Those pictures are from my hometown in Charles City, Iowa. I was down there this summer, and my cousin asked if I wanted to come down and watch them play, and I said, sure, I'll go down. I didn't know what the game was even about. And I went down and watched them, so I took a few photos just to show you what the courts would look like. The courts, and I also have a diagram in there for your information on the size of the courts. Or could the city maybe look at constructing a couple courts somewhere in the community for everybody to use? not only just seniors. You also have Kathy on the court. She has a good background in kind of what we're trying to do down there. So you could confer with her about this in the future if it would be something that you would consider. So that's my purpose tonight, is just to throw out an idea that maybe you might find some interest in doing it. I think it would add a lot to a lot of people in Cannon Falls if you were able to do something like this. Thank you very much for your time. Any questions?
Are these, I see it in the second picture, it's raised. Is it a raised or padded court?
What that was, Lynn, was a parking lot down near their athletic area. Now, Charles City is a city of about 25,000, thereabouts. And they took an old parking lot, so you can see they've raised it there a little bit. That's where you see that raising. That's what you're getting at, right?
So it's not a padded court or anything like that?
It's just like a tennis court. It would take the same type of surface, right?
Okay.
Did we take the poles out of the tennis courts at the, by the pool, or are they still there? Do you know, Merle?
For that, what's called the skate park up
Yeah.
there? Not that I know of.
I mean, because, I mean, if the poles are there, I mean, it wouldn't be, we could probably paint, or find some people to volunteer to paint it and just use those, I mean, at this point, if possible.
So you can take the skate park away.
Well, not necessarily, I mean, we might be able to share it.
Skate park.
Well, I mean, in the future, we might be able to do that. I mean, we've got to look at it
Gotta do
all.
something for the kids.
I know.
Is there anybody that did get a copy? I kept one just to look at, but is there anybody that didn't yet get one? Okay.
And John, appreciate it. We, something that we can consider, going forward in the future. And,
Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
And also, it's only $10 for the whole season to go down there and play, because they have mallets and balls. So it's a lot of fun. And it really makes you work out.
Thanks. Is there anybody else wishing to address the council under public hearing this evening? I mean, under public input. That's the next. If not, we'll move on to item 6 this evening, public hearings. We have Resolution 2185 vacating part of Ohio Street. And I'll turn over to Mr. Maroney.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm certain everyone in the audience is very familiar with this particular project, but for the council's benefit and the public, I'll kind of just walk through the public hearing tonight. This is a request that's been made by a property owner at 404 Ohio Street for the city council to consider the vacation of, in this case, the north 15 feet of Ohio Street. We have an existing home that has for some time encroached within that right-of-way. And in order to fix this, the city really has two choices. One is to consider the vacation of the street. The second would be to agree to some type of encroachment agreement. I guess the third is to have them remove it. But we haven't historically done that. Just for purposes of information, I just mentioned to the council, I don't think we need to put the lights down. But you may remember last fall, this happens to be the lot immediately to the west of 404 Ohio Street. This is the Rhodey property. Last fall, we approved a conditional use permit for a new garage to be built in that location. But I'm not sure the exact year, but in the past, the north 10 feet of Ohio Street had been vacated by the city, because you can almost see on this graph too, or this photo here, is that home was within the public right-of-way as well. So the city council previously has vacated that 10 feet for that particular property. The public hearing tonight is for this particular piece of property here, 404 Ohio Street. You can see Cannon Equipment up to the north and east, Progressive Rail to the south and west. Here's Ohio Street going east-west, 5th Street going north-south, or Highway 20, 4th Street going north-south here, and Dakota Street down in this location. So the property at question for the public hearing is right here. Survey that was done a couple of years ago, and in talking with the property owners, they've been assured that there really hasn't been physical changes on the property, have not required that they redo the survey. It certainly looks consistent with the survey done in 2010. But you can see here that the south porch, the south portion of the house, is already within the 80-foot Ohio Street right-of-way. So the area that I've got highlighted in yellow here is a 15-foot vacation of the north 80 feet of Ohio Street, which would then put this structure on private property outside of the public right-of-way if it's vacated. So again, the solutions here are to consider the vacation. If the council does do that, we always retain a maintenance and repair utility easement over that property. We don't have utilities underneath that house, but in the future, if we ever needed to use part of that 15 feet, if it is vacated, we do retain an easement and a right to do that. And if for some reason we wanted to extend utilities through that, we would have an issue and the right with the property owner to have that structure removed even if we vacate it, because we do retain an easement. But it corrects the ownership and the encroachment. If the council, as I said, isn't inclined to vacate but would prefer to have some type of an encroachment agreement, that's another way to do it. In that example, the city retains that right-of-way for our ownership, but we give the property owner the right to encroach or to have that existing structure within our right-of-way. We have that by agreement. And we've done that in other cases as well. So I think those are the two likely alternatives in this instance. I don't have anything else to add at this point. Again, and the reason that it's come to our attention now is the property owner would like to sell this property, and obviously with the current owner trying to sell property that isn't theirs, that's within the Ohio Street right-of-way, something has to happen to get this corrected. So that's why we're here. That's why the application was made. Any questions from the council members?
Let's go ahead and open up the public hearing at this time, and then we'll see if there's any questions during that time frame. Is there anyone that wishes to address the council under the public hearing? Is there anyone from the city or from the audience that would like to address the council? Is there anyone wishing to address the council under the public hearing? If not, we'll close the public hearing at this time. And is there any further discussion from the council?
Pretty cut and dry.
Yep. Okay, seeing as there's none, Chair will take a motion to approve Resolution 2185 vacating that 15 feet of Ohio Street.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Lynn and a second by Jay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
We'll make copies of the signed resolution available for you. We'll obviously record them, but I think you're free to go ahead and
Okay, that is going to move us on to the consent agenda. Items of this on this area of the agenda may be adopted or removed and placed in the business area of the agenda for discussion purpose before approving. For the folks at home, I'll read the consent agenda. Item A is adjusting correct claims for the accounting period ending February the 11th, 2016. Item B are the meeting minutes for the February 9th, 2016 City Council work session. Item C, Resolution 2184, recognizing the Cannon Falls School Board. Item D, approved by-fund policy for the Police Department. Item E, Resolution 2186, relating to Federal Recreational Trail Program. And item F, purchase of Lucas II chest compression system. Are there any items anybody wishes to bring down?
D. I'd like to just hear a little bit more about that.
Okay, well, item D will become item 8A under city business. Any other items? Seeing as there are none, the chair will take a motion to approve the consent agenda as submitted, minus item D, which is now under 8A.
So moved.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Merle, second by Rod. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Moves us on to item 8A, which is under business, new business. The buy fund. I guess everybody, Chief, would just like to get a little more information on this, what it's used for, and how it's funded and things of that nature. And
Well,
and who has
I'll
controls.
sort of reverse that process. It's funded out of general funds. I take it as a expense within my operational budget. So the buy fund, in essence, we have one already, but I wanted to create a policy with the new lieutenant coming on. I expect we're going to start to be able to be a little more proactive than we've been able to be for the last 2 or 3 years. And I wanted to create a policy that would provide guidance and operational oversight, both from an accountability standpoint, but then also from an operational standpoint. Buy fund essentially is a fund that's under the chief's discretion. When I came here, I inherited a fund of cash that is kept in my office, and that's what we use when we do compliance checks, purchase controlled substances, information. We've used it to buy stolen property from burglaries that we've had where it's been up for sale on Craigslist, that type of thing, and we wanted to try to acquire that property. Essentially, it's an investigative tool. And primarily what the policy does is it just highlights the process for accountability, creates an audit trail, both internal and utilizing our city's finance department to ensure that there isn't any abuse of that funds. I wouldn't expect there to be, but at the same time, that's why we create policies to provide guidance and prevent problems.
Has this been audited in the past, Linnell, at all?
No, it hasn't been audited in the past. Typically, there's just been a dollar figure set aside on the balance sheet, and when those funds needed to be replenished, which is actually pretty rare, then we would do that. But this policy would help, I think, in the long run to make things more transparent on the financial side of it and
Yep, I agree.
assist with the police department.
Anybody else got anything? If not, the chair will take a motion to approve the buy fund policy for the police department.
I'll second.
Motion by Merle, second by Rod. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. All right, that moves us on to reports. And since you're by yourself over there, you're first.
One thing I have, if I could have you sign a document for me before you leave tonight, I appreciate it.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Chief?
Well, today in the mail, I received a letter from the Minnesota Peace Officer and Standards Training Board, which is the regulatory oversight for peace officers in Minnesota. And they came down on January 25th and did a compliance audit for our policies, our training, and found that we were in compliance and sent a certificate for us. We're going to get a frame for it and put it in our office. We weren't alone that day. They were doing audits throughout the county. They haven't done them for quite a while. Here, I've been here for coming on 8 years, and we hadn't been audited by Post the entire time until now. So I'm very pleased to be able to say that when they did come in and do the audit, we had everything prepared for them, and that we were in compliance and passed their audit.
Good job.
And I could tell you it's getting warmer, but not raining tonight if you want.
Kathy?
I have nothing.
Nothing for me either.
Merle?
You confused me.
I threw you a curveball.
I want to know about MediaCom.
Yeah, so do I.
We haven't heard anything.
Last we knew that the lawyer and them were kind of fed up and just going to do what the last offer was. Is Mike here tonight?
Mike
were-
is not.
Not.
We received something by email this morning from our attorney, and I haven't had a chance to look through. MediaCom responded back to our request, and not fully, of course, so we'll see where that takes us. We haven't had a chance to talk to Bob. Excuse me.
Nothing.
I have nothing.
Only thing I've got, good job by the Cannon dance team. The gals finished fourth up at state, but it was another year that they made it, so good job for all those folks. I think they had a lot of seniors on that team this year, so good job to all those gals that represented Cannon Falls well up at the state tournament this week. So other than that, I have nothing, and Chair will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.